Hey, what's up, my friends? John Hiley here with the Tactical Dent Tech. You can see today we're going to be working on this deep ding on a body line on the back of this, what is this, a GMC Denali Arcadia. And you can see it's got an etch in it if you look there at the very top of the dent, but you can kind of see the depth and you can see that it's right through the body line. So the first thing that I'm going to do here is unscrew the one little screw that's in the back of the pull down. That's the only screw that I had to take off. I believe that was a T15 or maybe a T20. So now I'm going through, and these are tight right here as well. So these little side pieces, you do got to eject them before you actually attempt to take the back plastic off. Obviously, you got to take that top piece off that I've already removed. And you can see here, now that you eject both sides of these, the top of that is going to be much easier to come off. Now, I ain't going to lie, this thing actually gave me a little bit of trouble because it was just so tight. I mean, the clips inside of there were so tight. Eventually, I kind of work my way around here, and I figure out what the spot that will actually just break it loose and pull it off without damaging, the back plastic. There we go. So now I'm going to just pop off the rear trunk, automatic rear trunk button, a rear hatch button. And then from here, it just needs to be unclipped. And we've got our back plastic out of the way. Now you can see why this is so important, because there's a ton of access back here with this off. You can even actually see the dent right there. And you can see this is the not only the access hole, but right there's the dent. But right here is the access hole that I'm going to use for a majority of the repair. Perfect. It's big, and it's double reinforced. So now I'm going to use a rope ratchet and just pull that thing right down into place. And sorry, guys, I actually chose to keep the natural sounds on this video. So there's going to be some times where I'm just going to stop talking and allow you to see the repair and process. This video, I'm going to try to take you through as much of the repair as possible that I've gotten and recorded, so you can kind of see the whole thing and all of the movements through the entire process. So again, you see that little etch that's right there at the very top. And so just a little bit of paint damage. It's not through the paint, but very unnoticeable by the time I'm done. So you can see I'm grabbing the tactical handle, and this is the T handle, and I'm going to be using this double bend interchangeable tip tool. We can snap the tactical right there on the top, get it into place, snap into place. Nice secure handle here. Highly recommend that tactical, not just because I built it or created it, but because it is freaking awesome. You can see here I'm using the green Anson gummy tip. So you can see, again, we're going right in through our hole, and going to get in here and start doing some pushing. So this green Anson gummy tip, got to heat it up first, by the way. This is what I actually love about this tip, is that this tip is pretty much heat resistant, unlike the original soft tips, which I'm going to use later for another reason, and I'll go over that. But these are pretty much heat resistant, meaning that you don't have to worry about that metal part of the tool slipping through and putting a big nasty high spot in there. So the reason why I'm using this is because I want to move a lot of metal. And if you notice, I got my heat gun pointed directly at it, and it is sitting up there on a cymbal stand. So I use a cymbal stand with a clamp on it, and yes, that is for drums. And I'm heating right into, literally pointing it like a sniper rifle right into the middle of that body line, because that's what I'm pushing up right now. Now, one of the reasons why I wanted to push up the body line, using my Dent Vision paddle here, and then now I'm using the Anson pink gummy, which you can actually push or tap with it. But I wanted to push up that body line so the crown that was above that dent, or some people call it the eyebrow that was above that dent, actually gave it somewhere to go, meaning that it could flow back down into the body line area. There's situations that I will work the crown first, and there's other situations where I want to work up the dent first. And so you can see I'm back in here pushing right now. But I've talked about this a lot, not only on the Tactical Dent Tech podcast, but also inside of the Tactical Dent Tech Facebook group. I try to determine whether or not something is crown dominant or is it dent dominant. And in this case, I believe that it was dent dominant. So the crown was more of an effect of the actual dent. So because of that, I'm going to move the dent up and make it crown dominant before I actually go in and do my crown work. All right, so now I'm actually switched out to a peak tip. And I believe this one right here is the Pee-wee peak tip. A lot of times I'll exchange between the Pee-wee and the, it's called the firing pin. All right, so now I'm putting a soft tip on there, and I'm actually using this because it's a little bit smaller. The push is a little bit smaller than the actual green gummy tip. And so it's going to give me a little bit more precision as I get down in here into the nitty-gritty and push. And yes, guys, I am actually wearing Oakley's Meta glasses right now. So you're getting pretty close to seeing what I'm seeing. What I've noticed about these glasses is there's sometimes they get it right on. Other times they kind of overshoot it a little bit to the top. But a lot of times you can see exactly what it is that I'm doing. And I don't have to compromise my repair work because there's a camera in front of my face. So I'm really learning how to use these. So here we go again, going in there with the, actually I believe this is the firing pin. Really hard to tell the difference. I always swap them out on this same Knockdown. So the Pee-wee is just a little bit smaller, and the firing pin is like a mid-level size plastic peak Knockdown. And so these are the dead-on dent tool knockdowns, and they are absolutely incredible. You can get them at Anson PDR. You can also get that the paddle that I'm using, which is way better than a wooden paddle. If you guys haven't used them, Dent Vision paddles, absolutely incredible. I think you can get that on Dent Vision's website or over there on Anson. But now I'm switching to this. Guys, if you all have followed my progress throughout the years, you've seen this green-handled double bend pick tool. And this is the very first time I put actual metal, raw metal behind here. And so now what does this mean? That I'm getting into the nitty-gritty, the very precision, the tiny little dots that I'm pushing up. And this is where I spend most of my time, during this repair. So you're going to see, guys, that here in a little while that I'm going to be cross-checking and checking this repair out from multiple different angles. Not only pushing from multiple angles, but also tapping down from multiple angles. It's critically important, any dent removal, because you will see little flat spots, little lines, little dots that you need to clean up. And a lot of times, in fact, most of the time, you cannot see them from the angle you started the dent. So you're going to cross-check, but right now I'm still just going in and cleaning up from this one particular angle. There's still enough there to work on that I'm not going to switch out yet to a cross-check angle. But this is literally the tool that I'm going to use behind the metal for the remainder of the repair. And I like it because it's not crazy sharp, but it's not crazy dull or blunt. So it gives me the precision I need without any aggressive poke marks. And you guys can already see it's just coming up really well. And here we go for another knockdown session. I'm going to get in there with the plastic peak knockdown and just start kind of not only kind of blending out, but just working that area. And this is one of the things where it's a rinse and repeat process. You're going to push it up, tap it down, push it up, tap it down until you can get that original shape back into the panel. I would, in my opinion, the knockdown work, if you're just learning PDR, the knockdown work is just as important as the pushing work. So you've got to be just as good at knocking down as you are pushing, and just as precise. And the finishing part is always the longest, guys. So, I know it's exciting to see like the majority of a dent pop out or move up, But this is actually the boring part that makes you good. In fact, it looks boring from the outside looking in, but this is that meticulous work that we love as PDR technicians. And then see how that line right there? So I turned my light down, and there was that line right there. So I'm actually going to go in and go after that flat spot. So a lot of times when we do our work, we're going to miss a little flat spot, and that's exactly what I caught. So I turned the light down at that angle, and now I'm kind of standing up above it, looking down at it. And you guys can see these tiny little micro pushes are actually designed to just blend that out and work that out. And so now I'm going to go ahead and go in and knock it down from this straight on angle. So we did a little push work from looking down at it. And now I'm going to do the knockdown work at this original straight on angle. So you can see we're really getting down here to the nitty gritty where there's just a tiny little bit left. And it's going to be a rinse and repeat cycle. So what I see a lot of guys do is that you get in trouble with your knockdown, or maybe you get in trouble with by over pushing or overextending. This one right here, we're going to keep away from sanding, where there's not going to be any sanding. Not that there's anything wrong with sanding. And the truth is, I could have sanded it because there is that little etch that's actually in the paint. But I just decided not to on this one. So it's coming out very clean. There's no aggressive poke marks from the tool. And really, that's ideal. That's ideal. If you can keep away from any aggressive poke marks, you can do it. But there's some dents where maybe they need to be, you need to shrink them. And you can see here that I'm just like moving from multiple angles, guys. I'm trying to get this from as many angles as possible, and putting my head down. Then I was raising my head up, and then it was square up with it. And then it was, earlier it was like looking across it to find that little flat spot. And now we're going to go back in and continue doing some push work. And I really wanted to show this. I could have easily edited all of this little nitty gritty out of the video, but I wanted to give you guys something a little special today where I spend this entire time with you. So this is how long it actually takes to detrim the panel and do the repair. Now, admittedly, I did edit the trim panel part a little bit because I did not want you to sit there and just watch me fooling around with the plastic that entire time. So I do believe the original, it probably took me 4 minutes to get that plastic trim off. Okay, there you go. You can see me just continuing to do that knockdown work, continuing to blend that area out. And you can even see where my light was pushed back further and tighter to the panel. Okay, now I'm going to look at it from this particular angle. And you can see here that I'm actually going to be doing some knockdown work. So I've literally flipped my light all the way to the top of it. And what did I notice? A little crown down here. So there's a little bit of crown work that needs to be done from that angle. This is where it's critical. This is what separates very high quality technicians, is that you look at it from all the different angles. And you're able to distinguish quick, like fast. You can see where that crown is, and you know exactly where to position your light because you know which direction the crown is going in. And you guys don't see me putting the tool in, but I actually put the tool in at the beginning. You remember the big cavity that was down there that I actually pointed out with my finger, and I showed you the dent at the very beginning of the video? This is me literally just leveraging on the inside of that biggest cavity that's in there. So I'm right behind it. I'm not going through that same hole that we were actually going through, but I'm actually going through that giant open area where you kind of seen me point out the backside of the dent at the beginning. I kind of wish I would have got a shot of putting the tool in there for you so you could have seen that, but it is actually perfect leverage from this particular standpoint. And the truth is, this was a critical angle to be able to repair this dent and make it as clean as we can possibly get it. And see, now I'm even doing the knockdown work from this angle as well. You know, my ultimate goal is to give you, the authentic experience to see what does it really take to remove one of these dents. Because, the little 1 minute reels, we got to cut a lot of little stuff out of there. I mean, it's only 1 minute. and you can only show really the action shots, and that's all anybody wants to see in a 1-minute reel anyway. But I purposely do these YouTube videos much, much longer, giving you a better idea of what it actually takes. And so sometimes I think, them 1-minute reels, it kind of downplays what it is that we've got to do to repair, these dents. And I also want these to communicate not only to my clients and my customers, but technicians who are learning that, this stuff is not as easy as what a 1-minute reel can show you. So again, going into the knockdown work, and where am I at? I'm at my original angle. So a lot of times you notice you'll kind of go all the way around the dent as much as you can. This one, I really, couldn't get every single angle, but I was able to get 2 adjacent angles. So that way I could really have like a 360 view around the dent and catch any little crowns or any little waves that might be hindering our repair from being, very good. All right, so you can see here, just checking it out, looking at it, bobbing and weaving. I call this bobbing and weaving, always moving your head, always looking from up, from down, from all these different directions. You can see that it's coming out really, really well, guys. And so there's a little bit of a blending that I do after this, because I actually looked at this video and I seen a tiny little wave in it, and I didn't catch it, but I actually came back. I had a client come in with a Mustang, fixed his car, and then I did a little wave. So actually blended it out just a little bit more. Now you can see that we're going in with the Rupes polisher. And on this one, I'm using the white pad, which is a polishing pad, and this is literally a 1-step polish that they have. So not only does this actually have a very high gloss to it, and it's Rupes polish, but it also has a protectant in there. So it's going to add some paint sealant to this part of the panel where we worked. And just kind of doing the checkerboard pattern. I got certified when I was a kid by Automotive International up there in Cincinnati, Ohio. Learning how to buff appropriately and what to do when it comes to the checkerboard pattern, and how to identify paint contamination, things like that. So that's something that I've been even a little bit more passionate about over the last few years, is just making sure that we restore that paint back to its original condition. So here you go, guys. Right here is the before, nice big shot in there. And then right here is the after. I try to show you as much as possible because, there is that little paint blemish that's actually in the panel. I don't even know. It's very hard to see right now. But there is that little etch mark that we had before. All the natural orange peel is still in the panel. So again, I did not wet sand this one whatsoever. And it came out good. It came out really, really good. And I'm definitely happy with the repair. I spared you the moment that watching me put everything back together, but I assure you it all went back together just fine. So right there you have it. So my friends, if you're interested in paintless dent removal training, you can head on to tacticaldenttraining.com, fill out the form. I'm happy to jump on a phone call with you. We're moving into a new facility, actually adding to our facility that we're in right now. But you can see that etch mark right there. Right there's that little etch mark. And so as we expand, we're going to have room to do some training over this next year, and we're going to continue that. And as usual, I'll see you on the next one.